What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Sterling's World, getting your questions answered by people from around the world. Today is another update number 7. We're going to recap Venezuela. We're going to talk about the numbers. We're going to talk about real hospital stories. And then, again, follow up with a little bit of update about my wrist. It's some good news. So, like I said, if you care about that kind of stuff, stay tuned. And if you give a shit about my wrist, stay tuned till the end. We're doing this thing live again, so quick shout out to everyone in the subscription community. If you aren't subscribed yet, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It's completely free. You won't miss another update and a chance to kick it with me. So go ahead and do that. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about the numbers. So the world total cases now are 6.78 million. The deaths are up to around 400,000 now total since this thing broke out in December. So that's pretty high. Definitely beating the flu. And the U.S. is 1.94 million. Averaging again around 16,000 per day. That's up from last week's. I guess this is something you could expect from Memorial Day. Everybody spending time with friends and family during that time. And now it's been 2 weeks, so we could assume the numbers will be going up again. Hopefully everyone takes it seriously because it looks like a second wave is imminent and inevitable. Now we have some other things going on at the moment as far as the protests go. Super important issues, notable issues that need to be discussed. I just hope that it doesn't turn out to be devastating because it's kind of like a mix of a bunch of bad things going on at the moment, and that could end up in something serious. And so that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about. So jumping into the virus, yeah, that's one of the things that's concerning is these numbers going up, people coming out of quarantine in other countries. We're coming out as well of lockdown, and we have these protests going on. So a little insight into why I am a bit nervous and why I say it's kind of like the perfect storm when we talk about a second wave is because my friends in the hospitals down in San Diego have already told me that they are sending patients up to Marietta, up to Temecula, because hospitals in Encinitas and San Diego are starting to fill up and are overrun with COVID-19 patients due to the Memorial Day fiestas, you could say. And so they're already sending people up to LA, but my friends in LA County, because I go there for my wrist every month, they're also saying that the beds are filling up. There's starting to be not so much room as far as ventilators go, as far as beds for critical patients. So now we have these protests going on, right? Millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people in LA, millions of people around the nation are protesting in the streets for damn good reasons. But this, as you can see, brings in what I am calling kind of a perfect storm for a second wave. People not caring as much about social distancing, talking about the virus as if it's been 3 months and that shit's gone. Okay, it's not gone. And it's still affecting people every single day. As we saw, numbers are going up, and now we have these protests going on. And I support the protests. I believe that it's happening for a good reason. I just don't see the timing being perfect. I wish it didn't happen like this. Because I'm very nervous about me, my friends, my family, everybody that is, protesting and out there, and not just them, but the people they go in contact with after is also something to consider. So with that all being said, everyone, if you are out there, be safe. Be the idiot carrying around hand sanitizer in a little spray bottle and spraying everyone's hands just to make sure those people that you're around and you care about are protected. Do that. Be that person. It might seem stupid. It might look dumb, but who cares? It's safe. So this thing's not gone. It's just now. It's still getting started. We went into lockdown February or March, right? It's only been 2 months after that, and we're talking about having a vaccine in a year. So put that into perspective, and you can see that this thing isn't going to go anytime soon. So, jumping over to Venezuela, you guys, this is super curious. While we're all preoccupied with not just the coronavirus, but now with the protests, there are a lot of things going down in Venezuela. We didn't talk about it. We allude too much on the podcast. We alluded to it, but we never really talked about it. And that's the government action, the government implementation of resources into Venezuela. And people say that we're funding a rebel group to overthrow the president there and to start a regime that can spread then democracy. And from all my resources in Venezuela and Lou as well, that seems to be what is happening. So keep that in mind. It's kind of curious, think about what could be going on outside of the coronavirus while we are all preoccupied with certain situations. Here, there are things happening, foreign and domestic, that could be covered up very easily. So keep close eye on that. Pay attention to that. And another thing that I wanted to touch on last time I didn't get to was transparency. So everybody says, I want transparency. I want to know what's going on. I want to know why or when or how, why everything's happening for these specific events. And with all the information, I feel like we can make a better decision on what should go on. Now, is that true? That's up to you. I'll give you a certain scenario. Let's say that we're being completely transparent about Venezuela, okay? Let's say there's a crazy man running the country. Let's say that they have a lot of resources, and let's say that some kind of genocide happened there. So if we give all this information to you, what would you do, right? Stop Venezuela. Okay, but is that necessarily the correct option as far as foreign and domestic policies, world trade? We have a lot of gas companies relying on people like Venezuela, and that could affect Saudi Arabia, and all that could affect this globalized economy now is much more sensitive than we are used to. It's not like one thing happens and you can make a quick decision. So with all the information, do we think that we would be able to make the correct decision? I'll leave that up to you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But that also poses a very interesting question to what is going on around the world while this coronavirus is happening, because there are discussions with China still, Iraq, Iran, people are threatening other people all over the place, and we are just too preoccupied, caught up in our own issues. So keep that in mind. That is the end of the update. Quick little update about my wrist. I go back in on the 11th. Since the last information on my wrist, I thought I was going to go back in and need some bone grafting, some vascular realignment. And it turns out that they concluded at the hospital, it was like a big meeting with all the ortho surgeons, my hand surgeon, my doctor specifically, as well as the whole group, the whole team collaboration for my wrist. So that's two things. That's a testimony to see how bad this thing is. I mean, I've been in a cast for 6 months. It really was devastating. And but the good news is I won't need a second surgery. Or a surgery to repair the bone. It is healing, thankfully, and thanks to this little bone stimulator they gave me. Sends an electromagnetic current through my wrist to help stimulate the bone growth. So thanks for that, and I will only need one more surgery. So in the next few weeks, I'll be getting the plate out of here as well as the screws and all that. I'll be put into a nice little splint and let the healing begin. Let the physical therapy begin. So I wish everyone the best. Be safe. Remember, this coronavirus is still out there, still filling up hospital beds. And once they're too full and we have a second outbreak, this could be another Italy or New York. So take that into consideration. Please, social distance. Let your voices be heard, but be safe doing it, and do not spread this to the people that you love back home, the ones that are most vulnerable. All right? Peace and love, everybody. Have a good, positive attitude, and enjoy the rest of the weekend and the rest of the week.